All right, so welcome again, once again, to our president's meeting. My name is Carl Gould. Our topic this week is affinity marketing and messaging. Now, we've been very deliberate about our agenda for the past now 11 weeks, and if we go all the way to the back, well, remember what did we say? Q2 is going to stink. All right, Q2 is coming to a close. Q3 is going to be flat, meaning there's going to be ups and downs in the marketplace. Q4 is going to be the recovery, and that is playing out the way that we originally laid it out, because we took the data from a chief economist and applied it to what our experience is going to be. But then we started to set the agenda. Remember, we said you got to get through April. Right? And April's message was educate in April. And then we wanted to see what May was like as the world started to come back to work. And we suggested that you communicate and over communicate to your clientele and to your employees. Keep the training going, drill, drill, drill. It's like spring training because we have a number of states that are not only just opening, but they're opening to higher capacity. Right? And we've been doing our weekly question to kind of take the pulse of where everyone was at. So I'll come back to what's new in just a second, but let's do our opening question. What we've been hearing is that you guys have been getting some pushback. Some clients, I'm not so sure I want you back. Some employees, I'm not sure I'm coming back, or I'm a little bit nervous about my prior position, interacting with people, that sort of thing. So as a group, so we can share an experience here, share in our experience is what fear or hesitance or reluctance or pushback have you been getting from, or have you gotten from employees coming back to work, customers or clients, either coming back to your location or engaging with your business. Take a moment, type that into your chat box, and Julia will read them out later. What fear, hesitance, reluctance, or pushback have you gotten from employees? I'm not ready to travel. You know, I can't be around people. I'm over a certain age. I have an underlying condition. What are some of the fear, hesitance, reluctance, or pushback have you gotten? And we'll talk about that later, okay? Because I know many of you have been getting some pushback, and it's not good or bad. It's just something that is natural, and we're gonna have to deal with. So let's see what some of that pushback may have been. So just type that into the chat box. We'll come back to that later. Take a moment to do that, please. Thank you. I see a couple have already gone in. And what fear, hesitance, reluctance, or pushback have you been getting? Or just concerns, that you've been getting. Okay. So what's been happening recently? I've been hearing that your EIDL SBA loan, you were contacted a few weeks ago by the SBA. You may have figured it, you may have filled out your documentation, but we're hearing that they're being funded. The SBA right now on a daily basis is funding a lot of these loans. If you filled out your SBA EIDL, check your email so it didn't go to spam, but it's the SBA disaster loan email is coming out saying, hey, we've created a portal for you. We have your loan ready to go. Go in, sign off on it, agree to the amount, and then go. So check that out if you have not done that already. By the way, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 billion with a B, $billion worth of PPP that has not even been applied for yet. The second wave of stimulus has happened. It is still funded. So if there's any of you out there who still have not done a PPP loan, even if you're an independent contractor, please apply. Please apply. Okay. Go to the EIDL. Please apply for the SBA. Apply for that EIDL loan if you have not done so already. And PPP. There's been a recent additional guidance that they've added some flexibility into the PPP loan. They are, if you've borrowed under $2 million, they are giving you the benefit of the doubt that you requested the loan under proper guise. If you're over 2 million, they're going to scrutinize that a little bit more. I think most of you are under 2 million. And also they're giving you 24 weeks to spend that money, not just 8 weeks. Additionally, they're lowering the requirement for how much money you spend on payroll. It was 75%. It's now 60. In other words, you can spend up to 40% of that money on non-payroll expenses and still have it forgiven. So that was a really good thing. They acted very well on that. This photograph here is a photograph from the New Jersey shore. And what you'll notice is some people wearing face masks. What we were down the Jersey shore this past weekend because they started to open up. And what we're seeing is that because it's not in the news every single day, we're not being barraged with it. I think a lot of people are starting to think like, Corona what? Corona what? All right. So we're seeing a lot more people not wearing masks. All right. They are distancing, but they're not wearing masks. So when it comes back to when it comes back to your office, all right, up until this point, you know, we a lot of times we say, oh, the news is so negative. Well, one of the things the news did do was it kept it right in our face, top of mind. Here's what you got to do. And we were hearing about it every 10 seconds. Well, we're not hearing about it every 10 seconds now. There are other news items that are dominating the headlines, and we're not hearing about social distancing, sanitizing as much. So I've been noticing that overall, it's been lax, a little more lax. So for those of you that are looking to put in sanitizing standards, social distancing, you are going to have to take the baton here and really enforce whatever standards you are going to have at your office, in your place of business. If you're retail, you know, we were in a place getting one of these build your own salad places. 4 people came online that didn't have masks. They showed up, they were in this place, didn't have masks on, you know, and the people behind the counter was like, you really don't need a mask. You really need to wear a mask. And the people online were like, well, I don't have one. You know, and, you know, 2 weeks ago, that never would have happened. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they would have covered their mouth with their t-shirt or whatever. They were like, I don't have one. You know, so it took a few of us online like, hey, you're supposed to wear a mask. They're just doing their job. And they huffed and puffed and went and got one, right? But it's going to take a little bit more proactive enforcement on your end there. So just be aware of that. That might be something you want to relay to your employees. Maintain the standard, all right? Whatever standard you're going to go for, the government is basically said, all right, go get them. You're on your own. You go do it, all right? So you're going to need to do that. Okay. What do you know, Melissa? I'm on time. Never happens. You're so excited, I know. Last week, Melissa's been a great sport. Last week, I said, you know what? We ought to have Melissa on next week and talk about affinity marketing. On our next day's call, she's like, oh, so I heard I just got volunteered for an online workshop. Is that true?
Yes.
I said yes. And so she's been a great sport. Everybody, let's give it up. The reason why you eat brownies in the summer, get nice notes, you know, and are thought of and recognized and acknowledged is because of Melissa and her team. So let's give it up for Melissa. Everybody, you better, if you like brownies and cookies, you better be clapping is all I got to say. All right.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. So let's give me a second.
Yeah, please do. So I'll stop the share. Let's give, Melissa's going to share some of the things that she's doing. So what I asked was just, you know, talk about some of the things that we're doing. You know, we have a social media schedule that a number of people have said, hey, I like the structure, the way you guys do it. We every quarter we send a message out to our clients. We've gotten feedback that, hey, that was nice, that was thoughtful. And this is not to say that our way is the absolute best way and there's no other way to do it. But we wanted to just share some best practices. You guys can do the same. At the end of Melissa's presentation, well, actually, anytime during, if you're thinking of things that you do for your clients that are affinity marketing or just acknowledgement and acknowledgement and based and recognition based, you know, feel free to put it in the chat box and we'll share them because that's what we want to do is we want to share our marketing. But also, as we mentioned last time, the over communication. Remember the theme last week? The positive feedback that you got was the over communication was really appreciated. Well, that sets your post-COVID messaging. All right. So Melissa's going to share some experience here and some of the best practices that we do. And then we have David Taylor from David Taylor Design that's going to talk about some other digital post-COVID messaging, because we're in a new era now, guys. Your pre-COVID messaging some of it's relevant, a lot of it needs to be tweaked, and there needs to be a new frequency and new messaging. So Melissa, and then we'll follow up with David, and we'll talk about some things that you should be looking at. See, now it got interesting. Okay. So everybody, Melissa from Team 7 Stage, and she handles all things marketing, and she'll walk us through how we go about our affinity marketing. So Melissa, take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. So one of the companies that we use because it seems to work best for us and our needs is Send Out Cards. As most of you know on this call, you did receive brownies, and everybody loves the brownies. So we'll see if they make a comeback or not. I'm not promising anybody anything, but I'll keep it in mind. So here is on Send Out Cards. This is just some of the gifts that they offer. They work on a point system. It's very user-friendly. Everything is simple clicks, nothing hard, and it gives you all the details, the packaging, the shipping, everything you need to know, what's in it. So they're really great at that. As you know, for anyone who attended the 7-Stage Growth Academy, you received a thank you card through here. So we use it for thank you cards as well as Carl's holiday card. But we also use it based on quarterly touches to our clients. Now, some of you may have received stuff, some of you may be new clients and not yet. So what we do is we try to put a plan together for quarterly. So Q1 is really a tip to you guys, which is based on the start of the year. What business tip would be good for you guys to start off the year? So we'll send you that. In Q2, Melissa, you would get a gift.
Let me jump in just for a second. So to translate this for you guys, you know, we're growth advisors, so we give some sort of business growth tip. What you would do is you would, Steve in insurance adjustment would send a, one that is relevant to his industry as it comes out. And fluid power, there'd be something that would be relevant there. But it's some sort of tip related to what we do to set you up for the coming year.
Okay. So as I mentioned, Q2, you would get a gift. Q3 would be another postcard with a business tip. Q4, since we come into holiday season as well, you get a gift. And then we also send out a 7-Stage holiday card, as you see here. And we also send out Carl's family holiday card. So we send multiple cards out during Q4. We chose quarterly because after trying various combinations, we just found quarterly works the best for us and our clients. So just a little bit of the process on what we do. Carl and I will meet and we come up with a theme and or topic we want to discuss or tip we want to put out there. So coming for Q3, really we're going into the new normal. So when you guys receive your card for Q3, it's definitely going to be something around the new normal. What I would do, here is just an older example. I would put together the text on a Google Doc, and I would put together the image that I want to put on the front of the postcard. I then share the document with Carl. He goes in, tweaks anything necessary. He tweaks it. And then I go into Send Out Cards and create our card. Again, this is a past card, but you just go in, you add your photos, you add your text, whatever you choose to put in there. Everything is based on your mailing list that you create also in Send Out Cards. So we create, as you see here, our client list. Very simple. It's so similar to a CRM in all honesty. So it keeps track of the client's name. We always do, for instance, DPS Telecom and team because we're giving it to all of you. You enter the address. It's very simple coding. They give you the insert first name, insert last name, whatever you need to do. And then once your card is approved, You hit send, and within 24 hours, it gets sent out.
So they not only do they not only process the card itself, but they do the mailing from their central location. And just to go back on the point system, for those of you looking about how do I manage this and how does it work, the point system is like a dollar system. So what I do is I fund the account, and then Melissa just uses up the, based on, she tells me the amount of points we're going to need. Think of points as dollars, if you will. It's not exactly that, but this gift is 15 points and that gift is 2 points or whatever. So it's nice, it's easy that way, because you're not the person that you're asking to manage this, whether it's your outsourced agency or it's your in-house employee. They're not dealing with money. You fund the account, they go run with it, and they'll let you know, hey, we're out of points, and you go back and you fund it again. So it's very friendly from an office standpoint. And Melissa, why don't you tell them, other than the obvious personal photos, what service do you use to get stock photos?
We use deposit photo. So that's what we use. I should have pulled that up. I apologize, but
no, you actually, there was on one of the cards, you showed a photo and it said, that's how I saw it, the watermark. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, deposit
you can see the watermark
photos.
is on it.
Yeah, deposit photos. So here's a little tip. Right now it's watermarked, because until Carl approves the photo, I don't purchase the photo. I wait for Carl's approval. So that's why you do see the watermark on there. And then as soon as I get Carl's approval, we purchase the photo. So,
there you go.
But deposit photo is great. We literally find excellent photos on there. So I would recommend that one.
Great.
Okay. So that is pretty much how we go through quarterly cards for us. One of the things I would suggest, and Carl, I'm sure will agree, prepare for a year. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever plan you use, plan for a year. What we have found is, if I say, Carl and I'll have a meeting and we'll say, okay, this is what we're going to do for the full year. So it's perfect. So you don't have to worry about whoever's managing this task for you coming to you last minute. I need you to approve this now, or we're not going to get it out on time. Because once you start doing this, you have to be consistent. That's the only way to build the consistency, is to make sure that you're prepared. So I'm sure, Carl, you would agree with that statement?
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, and I when you're digging through deposit photos to look for some stock photos, you're already in there, so it doesn't take a tremendous amount of more additional time to do 4 postcards than it does do 1 postcard. So if you're doing it if you're doing it every quarter, if you're doing it for every quarter, then you've got to start the process over. But if you say, here's our theme, here are our 4 quarters, you can going back and tweaking it later is so much easier and quicker than trying to start from scratch and do it all over again. So yeah, no, it's good. That's a good point, Melissa.
Yeah, and we do it quarterly, and one of our rules is that the card must be approved and ready to be sent out by the 15th of the first month of the quarter. Great. No later than that, because you don't want to have a card send out the last month of your 3rd quarter and maybe people don't receive it in time. We never know the delay in mail, right? Now, your holiday card, this is extremely important. Everybody celebrates a different holiday in December. So you always want to make sure you send that holiday card out the first Monday of the month of December. That's important because they are extremely busy during that time with, as everyone knows, the mail becomes crazy, right, during the holidays. So you want to make sure you reach all of your clients for whatever holiday they are celebrating.
Yeah, I think one year we sent something out on the 10th, which we thought was plenty of time, and people were getting it in January.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, cut it too close that time. We learned the hard way.
Yeah, so it's definitely, for us, we have, as I mentioned, tried different ways. And this is what we found that works the best. And quarterly's great. And like I said, send out cards, it's user-friendly. Our staff is cross-trained on it. So my team of people Julia has hopped on it for me. Julia, who's on this call, she's hopped in there for me to tweak something one time. It's great because then you don't have to worry about it so much. It's one of those things that once your team knows how to use, you don't have to oversee constantly. If you put together the plan, then it's already in play for you. You can schedule cards to go out. You don't need to send it right away. You can also schedule it to go out at a later date. So it really is flexible.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. And you know, just the feedback overall that we've gotten has been, hey, that was a nice thought. Hey, we pinned it up in the cafeteria. That was a really nice gesture. Somebody said, hey, I almost lost a finger trying to go for a brownie. Someone loved, you know, they were such a hit. You know, thanks a lot. But, you know, just that little bit of touch. And I get it. I've read the book Giftology by John Ruhlin. Highly recommend that as well. There's a number of different ways that you can do this, but just to get the conversation going and starting you guys thinking along the affinity route with your clients, with your prospects too. You know, one of a guy we're very good friends with in Philadelphia who sends us referrals. We sent him a referral earlier this year, and I got this box, and inside it says, "Have a beer on me." I open it up, and it's a root beer, and it says, you know, and there was some company that does promotions that, you know, they must link up with and do this, but they sent a nice thank you. It's a nice thing. It's just a nice gesture. So we're here to do our first marketplace referral. Andy Langsam from DAS Dynamic Advertisement Solutions. We'll send you guys an introduction to Andy and his team. One of our clients who does promotions. So if you like the idea of the gifts or you're looking for something novel to send, you know, Andy and his team.
Here, Carl, this is from Andy's company. This
there
is
you
a
go.
bottle with our 7-stage logo. I didn't know you were going to mention that. Yes.
And listen, for all of you out there who have not filled out the form yet, we have 3 clients that do promotional products. One of them filled it out, so they get the bump. I even came wearing my swag. I've got my golf vest on that they made. I'd have been wearing Leapfrogs or Clearly Branded, but they're going to fill out the form. So fill out the form. You jugheads, that's why we're doing it. All right, so we'll get everybody an intro to Andy, and he'll work with you on some promotion products, I'm sure. What form? Wait, hold on.
Real quick, Carl,
go ahead.
Hold on
a sec. We got a note from Randy Goldberg. Randy, at the end, so you're going to get an email tomorrow. Look at any of the other emails. We have a link on there. It's called the 7-Stage Marketplace. It's a Google form. Can you just click the
that's what I wanted to show you guys. This is where it is in the email. So everybody knows we have our Zoom information. Then right under there.
Melissa, let me jump in for one more second. Just stay right there where the form is. And can you also click on your tray on your top tabs? It looks like you have the Google form that says
I already do. Yep.
Can you
right
click
there.
that? There you go. So we send out this questionnaire, Randy. So good, Randy. You made it today. We'll send it out to Randy as well. That's it. Okay. So we send out this Google form. It's really simple. It just says, who are you? Company name. What 3 introductions would be meaningful to you? Specific people, and what 3 types of introductions would be helpful to you, and really short. And then we'll make the intro. So, good job, Randy. You got in just under the wire. So we'll get that out and introduce you to everybody here as well for those that wanted to do promotions. So on the email that we send out, please read through it. Please click the link. It takes 2 seconds to fill out the form, and we'll start making introductions. So We'll get you in front of some promotional people that are our clients that can help you on the gift side. We use send out cards, but whatever methodology that you use or whatever platform that you use. So, all right, Melissa, you got 20 seconds. Any other last notes that you wanted to share before we wrap things up?
No, I mean, my main thing is if you are going to start to do affinity marketing, please just make sure you make a schedule and you stick to it. That is key across the board, because the minute you miss 1 month or 1 quarter, your clients are going to notice. So it's just super important. I know when Carl and I first spoke the very first time about it, he said, if we're starting this, it needs to be consistent. And that
Right.
was what we lived by through the entire
Yep.
thing, and we still do. So just make sure, because consistency is key.
Awesome. Awesome. So thanks for that, Melissa. Everybody, let's give Melissa a hand.
Thank you.
All right, cool. You be clapping because you're like brownies.
Yeah. They're gonna start chanting snacks now.
That's right. That's right. You definitely want that. So good job, Melissa, on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's one of those touches that is, it's a small thing that just makes such a huge difference, and so, to the extent that you can automate it, or you can use a partner who will do it for you. Again, we like variable costs. We like automation. We like making it super simple. So let's go for that, and we'll get you those introductions. Anna, I saw that you wanted the introduction. We'll make sure that we make that personally. And we did get a question that says, can we apply for more PPP funds? There's been no guidance yet. This is one guy's opinion, just my opinion. I have a feeling that there will be another round of PPP at some point, and here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to say, if you've applied before, you're going to get some sort of form from the bank that you work through, and you're going to fill one little request out, and they're going to probably give you a second round. I have nothing to go by. It's just my opinion. So if you have not, but if you have not filled out your PPP, please do, because I have a feeling, I just have a feeling that they're going to, with whatever money has not been used, they might put it back out there, or encourage you to apply or reapply. So just make sure that you've got your PPP funds going. Okay, cool. So Julia, what fear, hesitance, reluctance have people gone through? And while you're pulling that up, Alan wanted to share that he gets his stock photos from unsplash.com, and he says it's free. We use a paid service. It's a free service. So check it out, unsplash.com. So Julia, what do we got? What are some fear, hesitance, reluctance, or pushback some folks have gotten?
Okay, we have employees resistant to some new safety measures. Some employees would rather stay working from home. Folks don't want to wear PPE. High anxiety from the news from a few. Fear of spending, want to hold on to whatever dollars they have. My team go back to the office, and frankly, I'm not sure I want to. Clients will want to do when they feel comfortable. Keep hearing from clients they cannot get employees to come back to work while they're receiving the additional $600 from unemployment. As a result, staffing has been an issue at a few clients. Family members that are immunocompromised. Employees/clients not feeling safe to engage in person with no vaccine treatment. Be careful to verify sender domain on SBA emails, tons of scams and phishing emails.
Okay, so that was, all right, cool. And we can save the SBA and PPP feedback for later. So your deal, so as it relates to, if you guys are running a business and you have an open slot and you have an employee that's saying, well, I'm not so sure I want to come back, and they're not immunocompromised, or they're not over a certain age or vulnerable or an existing condition, and they're just saying, I like this extra $600. Understand that if you give them an open position, they either fill it or they quit. But either way, their unemployment goes away. So they can't just sit back and do that. Now, if you do have someone who's immunocompromised and is worried about coming back to work, that's a real challenge. And I think I would check with your state's employment law, and find out what the regulations are around that, because you don't want to be firing somebody because of COVID fears. You want to make sure that you're following whatever protocol. But there's a reality here, is that there's some people that are not going to come back to their current position because of whatever issue they're going through, and you're going to have to either repurpose them to another position, or they may need to be let go. So you've got a business, and guys, we're open again. You've got 2020 to salvage, and we can't be spending the next 5 weeks begging our employees to come back. Those positions get filled. So if you're getting what you consider to be unwarranted or unnecessary pushback or complacency, like, hey, I just, I don't want to come back, get resumes out. I'm sorry, get ads out and start taking resumes, because your current employees are going to fill those positions or new ones are going to fill those positions. But you can't miss a month because you're begging your employees to get back. When you're ready to roll, you got to be ready to roll. Okay. So we've been hearing a lot of this over the past week, so I wanted to share that. I have a lot of empathy for those that are might be vulnerable or a certain age or immunocompromised or have family members. I have zero empathy for somebody who says, I want to keep collecting unemployment. Sorry, no. So we want to nip that one right away. So, okay. Now, if it wasn't enough to have Melissa, we have David Taylor. I don't know. Note to David Taylor, don't try to follow Melissa in the future. Beg to go first, because you're a tough act. She's a tough act to follow, but you'll do your best, David. So David Taylor from David Taylor Design, master web designer, CEO, SEO, and other digital service. He'll tell you a little bit about that. But we've been talking a lot about post-COVID messaging. So I asked David if he would come on and talk about the top 5 things or thereabouts that you all should be thinking about in your post-COVID messaging. Remember, over the last month, I've mentioned a couple of times that a few of our clients have increased in the rankings, and they weren't sure why, because they weren't doing anything new or different. And upon more investigation and discussion, we realized, wait a minute, our competitors have backed off, and that's still going on, right? Some people mistakenly pull back on their marketing, and it's still happening. So that gives you an opportunity to not only either increase in the rankings or solidify your position, or flat out beat your competitor to the next client. So we asked David to come on to share some of his thoughts. David, I just put together an introduction slide. You'll walk everybody through this, and David has already provided us with his notes, so we'll put them in we'll put the notes in tomorrow's email that you all will read on your way to filling out the 7-stage marketplace form. So everybody, let's give it up for David Taylor.
Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it. And
go for it.
Everybody. So I might want to share my screen in a minute, but not just yet.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do is share with you 5 or 6 things that you can do to improve your marketing post-COVID. I'm going to kind of plow through these things pretty quickly in the interest of time. You're welcome to follow up with me afterwards. One thing I can tell you is that if marketing is a metric for economic growth, I'm happy to report that people are starting to spend money with us. It was difficult for a couple of months, but now people are starting to spend. But we've been closing a bunch of deals just in the last week. So hopefully that is makes you feel good. But the first thing I wanted to share with you is that you should send a weekly email campaign to stay in front of your clients during this time, but not to sell. So create an email campaign that you send to your clients weekly, provide free advice, let them know you're there to support them. We created, David Taylor Design, some of you might get it, but David Taylor Design created a campaign called Bright Ideas When You're Stuck Inside. And what we do is we aggregate content from other sources. We just go and find things that might be relevant to our client base, not just work stuff, but home stuff. How are you managing your kids? What are you doing with your time? And we aggregate all that content into an email blast, and then we send it out to our clients once a week, and then we rinse and repeat. The trick with this is that the content that is in the body of the email links to our website first, right? So you receive our email, you click it, it takes you to our website. Now they're on our site to finish reading the content before they go and read the rest of the note. And I have an example. This is where I might want to jump in just for a second and share my screen if I could.
Go for it. There you go. You got it.
Got it? So yeah. I'm going to jump over to here. So this is just my email inbox. Notice how few emails I have. Thank you. Proud of that. So here's the last one that we sent over. So this is our Bright Ideas email. And so here we just, a little opener and fun stuff to say, staying. These are just like interesting little topics. And let's
Hey,
just
David, one second. I'm not sure I'm seeing your screen. Julie, are you seeing his screen?
No, I'm not. Can you hit the share screen at the bottom?
I did, but I'm going to do it again. How about now?
There we go. Yeah.
We got you now. Yeah, good.
Cool,
Good,
cool.
good, good.
So here is the email that went out.
Hey, David, I noticed you have very few emails in your inbox. You ought to be really proud of that.
Thank you. Notice how few I have. Please love me. Yes, I spend a considerable amount of time making sure that oh, yes. Anyway, so here's the email that we sent out. It goes out as a blast to 5,000 people that we have met through business over the past 13 years. Let's just say I'm interested in driving concerts. So I'm going to click here. This takes me to my website to finish reading that blurb. And it takes you right to the drive-in concerts section. So it's just a way of bringing someone to my website, and now they can explore and they can go to our homepage. They can look around at our portfolio and see our other services. But it's an email that we create just to help our clients through this time. Again, not selling, but there's a soft sell to bring them to our site to read the rest of the content. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. The next thing I wanted to share with you is that you want to give people the special sauce. And what do I mean by that? Show them how to do the work themselves if you can. Everyone will value the transparency that you bring and your willingness to help. They'll see you as an expert in your area. They'll see you as a trusted resource, and they'll feel empowered to do the work that you could be doing for them. But most likely they will not do the work. Even though you train them on how to do the work, even though you show them how to do the work, they'll probably go, this is terrific. I'm so glad I know how to do this. But then their regular job gets in the way and they probably won't have time to do it. And then they'll reach back out to you to do that work. And it's just been a gesture of goodwill. And we build websites for a living. And we also do search engine optimization. And we train our clients on how to take over management of their websites. And we create a manual for them so that they know how to do it. And if they brought new staff on, the new staff could learn how to take over the website. And not only that, but we create little videos. So if you forget how to add a blog or forget how to change out a bio, you can watch one of these little videos that we created for you. So you're totally in control of the process. Our clients love that. But again, it's probably 60% of them have a maintenance plan with us that includes us helping them take over where they don't want to manage. So that's the second one. The third one I wanted to share with you is to update your website, right? You have maybe 7 seconds to get the attention of somebody who visits your site. Make sure the website design's up to date. Is it search engine optimized? It's essential to include keywords, the words that someone types into Google, keywords or phrases, into the fabric of the content of your website. So if those words, those keywords that you type into Google don't appear on your website, then you won't be found for them, right? There has to be a match. So you want to incorporate those keywords and phrases into the fabric of your website. And then we want to create what we call a call to action. What do you want someone to do when they finish reading that piece of content? Pick up the phone, call us today, click here to learn more. You want to walk someone through the journey of your website and have them take action at the end of every piece of content. And if your website hasn't, one other thing, don't ever use acronyms on your website. It makes people feel dumb. So avoid acronyms at all costs. And then if your website hasn't been updated in 2 years, you probably need to refresh your website.
So David, on that point, one of the things that, guys, we've all said for a while, and I say it in my keynote presentations, David, I've heard you say it as well, is that, when we went into the winter season of business in 2005, the control of the purchase had switched to the consumer. It used to be to the provider. Like, I own the car, I'm going to tell you how to buy it, and you're going to buy what I have. No,
Right.
no, that's not the case anymore. Now, I'm going to your website, I'm going to design the car, you're going to give me perceived control, and
Yep.
then I'll buy when and if I'm ready. So it's the relationship has flipped now. So your marketing and your digital presence now plays the role of salesperson. So we need to set it up in such a way that you can put the buyer in perceived control so they can pick their path through your website, take the call to action, have the couple options so that when they hit submit or they hit purchase, like, yeah, aren't I in control? Well, yeah, but you're giving the perceived control like Amazon would, you know, like, you know, or another website would. You're allowing them to design their purchase.
Right, absolutely. And that's what we call inbound marketing, right? Drawing some, as opposed to you sending out marketing messages and hoping people see them, a search engine optimization campaign is designed for when people are looking for services, they find you, which is a much easier sell when they have found you because they found what they're looking for.
Right.
The next item I wanted to share with you is do a website audit and do a keyword audit. And what's that? So your current web design team could do a website audit. You can run a report on your website to see how you are scored at Google. They give you a grade, you're either red, yellow, or green, and they give you a number from 1 to 100. How's the design? Is the messaging clear? Is the technology outdated? What kind of broken links are there? Is the website mobile friendly? Is it secure? Those are the kind of things that the report will show, and it will show you where you're falling short of today's standards. So the website audit, important. Keyword audit, and SEO, search engine optimization keyword audit is important. So your web design team can run a report on your website to tell you the words that your website is ranking for. And sometimes clients come to us before they have worked with us, and they maybe are ranking for 8 or 10 words on their website. That's not enough. I can tell you that David Taylor Design is ranking, meaning when someone types something into Google, we show up. We're ranking for 650 different keywords. So you can rank for a lot of words, a lot of different phrases, combinations of different words and phrases. And so you want to run a keyword research audit so that you can figure out the words that you are currently ranking for and then create a strategy around that to improve the amount of keywords that you're ranking for. And if anybody doesn't have someone that can run those reports, reach out to me. My team will run those reports for you for free. Absolutely, no problem. You see my logo there with David Taylor Design. Happy to run those reports. I shared one with Carl on a website audit for him not too long ago. It's just an informative thing. It just shows you how your website's structured.
Yeah, it lets you know who's coming, who's reading, you know, because if you think about it, if there's a certain keyword that you're ranking for, and if we start there and you work backward, that keyword probably has a certain demographic that goes from it. So if you have somebody who's typing in exit strategies, there's a certain person and a certain demographic and a certain kind of company and a certain position in that company that's likely putting in that keyword. So if you have 8 keywords that you're ranking for, you're limited to the number of people that are coming to your website and the types of people. You might have the wrong people coming to your website, right? So Porsche puts out a magazine about the Porsche lifestyle. And of all the people that subscribe to the Porsche magazine, the lifestyle magazine, only 10% own a Porsche. The other 90% that buy the Porsche lifestyle magazine don't own a Porsche. So if you're thinking like, hey, I'm going to take an ad out in that magazine, boy, I'm going to get all those Porsche owners, you're going after the wrong audience. So keywords are a good way to figure out who is listening to you and who is interested in traveling on your website. It would be like you having a retail store. You open the door and 9 out of 10 people that walk through are not eligible to buy any of your products. And they're just coming and browsing, and only 1 out of 10 are even old enough or have the money could even buy your product. So keyword audit is a good way to know, are you even talking to eligible prospects? You know, so that one's a really important one. So I would absolutely do the keyword audit so so you can back your way in and find out who is it that's actually using up all of my, or you're not using up, but who is engaging in my online presence.
And maybe you're ranking for hundreds of words. Terrific. Maybe you are, but if you don't know, you can't create a strategy around it. So you have to get that data.
And the call to action will have to match. Once you know who it is, you want to make sure the call to action would match that.
Right. That's a good point. So you always want to create, when you lead someone to the site, from wherever they come, they need to land on a page that they expect to land on. And then you should give them some offer that they expect to see at the end of that piece of content. So creating those calls to action, very important how you structure them. The other thing I wanted to share with you is to put a CRM in place today. If you're not using a customer relationship manager, CRM, then you are probably losing business. You can segment, you can even create forms that are on your website that automatically populate into your CRM solution, and you can track that lead as you go through your sales cycle with them and be able to stay in touch with them and remember things that you spoke about. Super important. If you don't have one, you should set it up today. Once it's set up, you can even automate tasks. So if somebody, for instance, you sent them a blog article and a link and they click the link, by having them click the link, it can trigger an automatic email that sends out and says, "Hi, Carl, I noticed that you clicked the link and I thought you might be interested in this other article," and then it sends them the next thing automatically. So once it's set up and running, you don't have to do anything. You just need to spend a little time to set up the automated task and the logic behind it, and then it just runs on its own. So that all can be accomplished with CRM solutions and automated tasks.
So on that note, David, so guys, if you think about it, if you run a webinar, an email, a weekly email, you take David's advice, you run a weekly email campaign, you're going to have a whole marketing funnel for just clicked on email from weekly campaign. Then the next week, you're going to be at a networking meeting. You're going to have a drip campaign or a campaign that says met at networking meeting. Then you're going to have another one that says, sent me responded to our postcard mailer, right? And there's after a while, you'll notice that there might be 5 or 10 ways that you interact with your audience or your prospecting. There's no way you're going to remember each of those campaigns. So we have a master document we can do with all of you, and we call it the drip campaign, and we'll put together the touch sequence. So for those of you that sounds interesting, or we haven't done that with you yet, we'll get with you and put together your whole drip campaign sequence. But that's why you want a CRM, because they'll manage each one of those sequences, and before you know it, you're gonna realize you've got 3, 5, 7 of them, and a piece, paper and pencil is not gonna be the way to track that. You definitely want to use some measure of CRM there. And Excel is not a CRM. I'm not sure if you said that yet, Dave, but
I did not.
Excel is not a CRM. Okay.
Right. Don't use spreadsheets to manage your marketing.
Right.
So the last thing I wanted to share with you is that you should be focused on doing search engine marketing, inbound leads, SEO. And if you're not doing search engine optimization right now, you're making a mistake. The power of the internet, as Carl had said, the sales process has been put in the hands of the customer. People go to Google to find answers, and you want to be the answer to their Google search. And you want to create content that is the answer to their Google search. So that's where keywords come into play. And sometimes keywords and phrases are even in the form of full questions, right? You do it, right? You type in full questions into the internet and expect to get an answer back. It's not just pizza, it's like, who has the best pizza, or whatever the longer tail version of those phrases are. But so create content that gives answers to your prospects' questions. You can think of it first, start with the questions that you get asked all the time and answer those questions on your website. You should create at least 4 new articles a month and add those articles to your website. They could be blogs, they could be called case studies, they can be called whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The idea is that you add new content onto your website at least 4 times a month, and not just a couple of words. You have to write 800 to 1,000 words of content about a specific keyword or phrase, and then you want to weave that keyword or phrase into the fabric of that 800 to 1,000 word article 7 times, maybe 8 times even. So the trick is to write the article in a way that is good for human consumption, but also makes it easy for Google to categorize and understand your business. And one point that's important to recognize, when you search Google at this moment, you're not actually searching the internet. You're actually searching Google's database. And so if you structure your content in a way that makes it easy for Google to understand what you're talking about and easily categorize that content into their database, then you're more likely to come up on page 1 of a Google search.
All right, David, I know we're just about out of time. This has been
I'm
great,
good.
but I wanted to touch on that point. I'm going to do a visual aid here. So when you just said write 4 articles a month, everyone just about fell over. That was the noise you heard in the background. Like, what? All right. So I'll give you a little trick what we're doing right now. Okay. So guys, we said the same thing. Like, you got to be kidding me. You want me to write that much every single month? So what we do here is, if you see my little camera right there, and you see my little microphone, what we do is I videotape me doing any meeting, any strategy session, podcast interview, you name it, anything I'm doing that is out to a group that's training or whatever, I videotape that. I upload it. I have it transcribed. Julia and Melissa pull out all the garbage, which is most of it. But if you have a 1 hour meeting, you've got 3,000 or 4,000 words. Okay. You can have that transcribed and then you pull out the key points. And how many videos do we have in the queue now at this point, Melissa? Couple hundred?
I was going to say a couple hundred. Yeah.
Couple hundred. And from today, we'll have 5 or 6 more. So
yeah.
This is just one way, guys. There's a number of ways to create content, but this is just one way that you can do it. If you're worried about, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Start videotaping your strategy sessions, your group trainings with your team, trainings that you're giving with clients. If you're ever doing an interview, I go on a TV station, I do an interview and I bring my phone. I'm like, I hope you don't mind. And I'm videotaping me being interviewed, so I don't know what they're going to do with it. And I've done interviews where they've botched the recording. Like, oh, can you come back? I'm like, I don't need to, I already got it. So I'm good. Right. But it's a way right now to let technology help you and start building up your content database. So whether you use an agency, whether you do it internal, you'll have all of this raw video and raw transcriptions that you can build a lot of content from. Okay. So just one other way to do it, and you will have more content than you think. So that's one other way to do it. So, okay. Sorry, David. And why don't you just wrap us up?
I'll tell you my last point of the day is that I used to believe that referrals were the best source of my business, and they were for a long time. But I can tell you over the past 3 years, and we've been focusing on our search engine for a little longer than that, but over the past 3 years, I can tell you with confidence, our biggest clients find us now. So it's true. Like, people find us, international plastics companies, manufacturing agencies, people find us, and then they reach out to us and engage us, and then they become clients. So search engine optimization really works. Yeah.
One of the beauties of what David's talking about is, we've talked about pricing strategies in the past, and, I've done 5 ways to generate revenue in your business in the next 90 days. And one of the things that we say is give people a risk-free or free experience of what you do. And then they understand what you do, and they can say, all right, now that I've seen the result, I would like to engage with you. By doing SEO and having inbound, they get to experience you, what you do, how you do it prior to having to make a full commitment. So so when you're doing inbound, it's a sales presentation, right? But so David, thank you so much. Check out David Taylor Designs, his team, David and either David or Tanya will take great care of you. There's a few people on the line here that David's already working with, and he does a super job and really knows how to get behind the curtain and make you not just ranking, that's good, but also conversion, because that's at the end of the day what you want. It's not just the number and volume of leads you get, which is nice. It's always nice to get a lot of leads, but the quality of the lead that you're getting and the quality of the engagement, So by all means, check him out. He offered you the free keyword audit. I would absolutely take him up on it. I did. He did it for us, and it was super. It gave us a lot of really good insights as to what we want to do and setting our digital strategy. But one thing I want to circle back with is, guys, last week we said your during your COVID communication to your clients told you what some of the messaging should be, and that you're going to up the frequency. So look at numbers 1 and 2 for sure. Is what David has given you is the frequency and the content, not 1 and 2. All right, we'll get you his notes and a way to contact him. we'll make those introductions. But what your messaging going forward right now, remember, COVID flattened the field, and whoever was in front of you before, they may have pulled back, and you've got a chance right now. You have increased your position simply by them pulling back. So you have a good opportunity now. You have a bit of a running start since you've already been communicating. So let's put down the gas pedal right now, because the world's back to work, and you have a real opportunity now. So take advantage of it while we've got this bit of a void that you can fill. So David, thank you very much. Melissa, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be back next week. We're going to talk some more about content creation, how we do it, how you can build quick content and good quality content as well. But we want to set the agenda for this week. Start thinking about your frequency. Next week, we'll get into a little bit more about how we build content, and that's going to set us up nicely for the summer. So we're a minute over, but I want to make sure that we got the benefit of that content. David, once again, thank you. Melissa, thank you. Everybody have a great week. We'll be talking to you throughout the course of the week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.